Good afternoon, students. I'm happy to see you again. Now I'm Ramreddy Sangala, lecturer in physics, Upatanga, Junior College, Kachiguda, headed institution. Today, we would like to discuss this second year physics topic, that is a communication system. It's already been covered, so we'll focus mainly on 2 marks questions as far as IPE examination is concerned. Before that, I would like to say a few words. So due to special COVID situation, now the syllabus has been reduced by 30%, and then choice increased by 50%. You have to make optimum utilization of this opportunity. It's a very easy to score 100% marks. That is 60 out of 60 as far as sciences are concerned, provided you taught a smart preparation, right? Seeing the analysis of chapter-wise weightage, whichever chapters have more weightage, and then accordingly you focus and concentrate and emphasize more on such topics. It's easily you can score 10% marks. So wish you all the best. And coming to the topic which already been discussed, let me throw some light on communication system. సో సమాచార వ్యవస్థ, దీన్ని సంసర్గ వ్యవస్థలు అని అంటాం తెలుగులో. సో మనం ఫెమిలియర్, సో సమాచారం అనేది మనిషి సోషల్ యానిమల్, సోషల్ జీవి. దీంట్లో సమాచారం సో ఒకరి నుంచి ఇంకొకరికి చేరవడం చాలా ఆవశ్యకం అనమాట. సో సమాచార మార్పిడికి భాషతో పని లేదు. పుట్టిన పిల్లోడు, చిన్న పిల్లోడు, చైల్డ్ నుంచి తల్లితో కమ్యూనికేట్ చేస్తుంది. సో సౌండ్ ద్వారా, ఏడవడం ద్వారా, అట్లాగే నవ్వడం ద్వారా దిస్ విల్ కమ్యూనికేట్, షీల్ ఎక్స్ప్రెస్, the child will express her feelings. So similarly, so we have different systems to express our views or to exchange the communication. Okay, all the systems and the developments. Now it's nowadays the communication system is revolutionized. Also using this internet system and cellular phones and all this order of the day. Imagine a life without this communication system. How life would have been. Okay, now regarding the time, as your IPE examination is fast approaching, so you need to prepare. So time plan, action plan, accordingly you have to prepare and make optimum utilization of the available time to aim 60 out of 60. At the same time, so you have to focus on competitive exams. Second year students, you don't have enough time. Simultaneously you have to prepare for IPE examination as well as competitive examinations. Okay, coming to communication system. So with a little bit of introduction, let us straight away switch over to very short answer questions, mainly IPE point of view questions. So communication system means, as you already know, the faithful transfer of the information. So between 2 points, 2 persons or 2 computers, it can be anything. Okay, so this, you go back to olden days of the kings and kingdoms, then how this information used to be transmitted. Okay, సో పాత కాలంలో, రాజుల కాలంలో, రాజులు రాజ్యాలు ఉన్న టైంలో ఎలా సమాచారం జరుగుతుంది. సో అక్కడ మనకు దూతలు అనే వాళ్ళు ఉండేవాళ్ళు కదా. ఓకే, సైనికులు, దూతలు హార్స్, గుర్రాల మీద వెళ్ళి సో మైల్స్ ఆఫ్ డిస్టెన్స్ ట్రావెల్ చేసేసి సమాచారాన్ని ఉత్తరం ద్వారా చేరవేర్చడం. ఆ తర్వాత ఓవర్ ఏ పీరియడ్ సో మనకు పోస్టల్ డిపార్ట్మెంట్ లెటర్స్ రాయడం, ఇన్లాండ్ లెటర్స్, కార్డ్స్, అవన్నీ పోస్టల్ డిపార్ట్మెంట్ యూస్ టు టేక్ కేర్. సో బిఫోర్ దాట్ ఈవెన్ బర్డ్స్ వర్ యూజ్డ్ as mode of communication, isn't it? So nowadays you just imagine a situation, so how the communication system developed rapidly over a period. 40-50 years క్రితం తీసుకుంటానంటే మనం మామూలుగా మనకు గుర్తొచ్చేది సో కమ్యూనికేషన్ అనగానే మనకు సో ఇస్ టెలిఫోన్, సో లైన్ కమ్యూనికేషన్. సో టెలిఫోన్, ఆర్డినరీ టెలిఫోన్ త్రూ కేబుల్స్. సో ఒక ఇంటి నుంచి ఇంకో ఇంటికి, ఒక ప్లేస్ నుంచి ఇంకో ప్లేస్ కు మనం పంపించాం. అట్లాగే ఎస్టీడీ బూత్స్ ఉండేవి, సబ్స్క్రైబర్ ట్రంక్ డయలింగ్, అవన్నీ. తర్వాత మన ట్రంక్ కాల్ బుక్ చేసేవాళ్ళం. సిస్టమ్ అంతా కాంప్లికేటెడ్ గా ఉండేది, isn't it? So now the communication system has undergone revolutionary changes after this internet came into existence. 70 ఆ టైంలో మొబైల్ ఫోన్స్ ఎగ్జిస్టెన్స్ స్టార్ట్ అయిపోయింది. తర్వాత 90s తర్వాత చాలా పాపులర్ అయిపోయినాయి ఏవి మొబైల్ ఫోన్స్ అనేవి, సెల్యులార్ ఫోన్స్. Okay, now within no time, fraction of time, we can transmit information and messages so across the globe. In fact, So we are staying in India. We can easily within fraction of second we can transmit text files, pictures, videos, whatever you want to other part of the globe, say USA, Canada, or Australia, any other country for that matter, within no time. So through emails, using internet services, through satellites. Okay, so like that, the system so undergone a tremendous progress, isn't it? So what is basically so the any communication system basic components. So what are the basic building blocks of any communication system? So first of all, to transmit information, there should be some transmitter, then transmission channel, and after that receiver. The basic building blocks of transmission system, basic building blocks of any transmission system. This simple question, you'll get it for 2 marks. What are the basic building blocks of communication system? One, transmitter, channel, transmission channel, then receiver. Now, any communication system, radio broadcasting, TV broadcasting, any type of broadcasting, you need to have transmitter. Then so it must be transmitted through cables or through some mode, okay, through internet, through space or through sky or through waves, or it can be some mode. Transmission channel must be there. Then the receiver and receiver antenna or receiving system. Okay, we must have this the basic requirements for any communication system. సంసర్గ వ్యవస్థలు సమాచారాన్ని ఒక చోట నుండి ఇంకో చోటికి చేరవేయడానికి మనకు ముఖ్యంగా 3 భాగాలు ఉంటాయన్నమాట కమ్యూనికేషన్ వ్యవస్థకు. ఓకే, ఒకటేమో ట్రాన్స్మిటర్ సమాచారాన్ని పంపించేటటువంటి వ్యవస్థ, ఆ తర్వాత ట్రాన్స్మిషన్ ఛానల్, ఓకే, సమాచారాన్ని చేరవేస్తే వాహకం లాంటిది ఛానల్, అండ్ దెన్ రిసీవర్ గ్రాహకాలు అన్నమాట ఇవన్నీ. సో కమింగ్ టు దిస్ communication system, how it is being done. So how to transmit the signal over long distances or hundreds of miles. Suppose my voice, if it's a mechanical wave, sound wave, if it's transmitted as it is, it may travel few meters, maybe 50 meters or 100 meters or maybe 150 to 100 meters, isn't it? So if it has to travel over hundreds of miles from one country to another country, thousands of miles, so modulation technique comes into picture. The signal has to be modified, it's the energized, the strength must be increased by modulating, the process of increasing the strength by overlapping, by combining with a high frequency carrier wave. That modulated signal actually transmitted, right, with the help of transmission channel. Say for example, radio broadcasting, TV broadcasting, news, let's say entertainment programs, the signals, in fact, they are converted into electromagnetic signals. These electromagnetic signals, low frequency signals, overlapped, so mixed up with high frequency carrier wave. That modulated signal is actually transmitted. So this has the ability to travel over hundreds of miles, and on reaching the receiver, this modulated signal again demodulated, the separated out. Okay, carrier wave, that signal they get separated out and then they fed to different units. For example, TV broadcasting. So the picture, audio, and video, they come together in the form of electromagnetic signals, so carried by carrier wave, high frequency wave. Once you reach the receiving set, that means TV set, we call it audio, video demodulation. They get separated out. They are fed to different units, and we can see the picture, and simultaneously we can listen the sound in synchronization. All this transmit. This system, basic system is like that. Let it be radio broadcasting, TV broadcasting, any broadcasting system, isn't it? Okay. So now, so what is sky? What are the sky waves? What are so space waves? How the cellular phones, the mode of transmission? All those things one by one we'll discuss. Okay. So now coming to this transmission of this signal. So very popularly, Earth, as we know, is curved, big. Curved shape, spherical in shape, big spherical ball. When the signal is transmitted at one point, so due to curved shape, the signal will escape into space like this without reaching the other part. So So to overcome this, so nowadays we are using so, satellite communication. Through satellites, we are able to send the signals to other part of the globe comfortably, isn't it? So now communication system, a lot of applications. Nowadays, you just imagine without this internet system. So you imagine entire e-commerce, even education system, everything, banking system, everything will collapse. They stop working properly. So they get handicapped without this internet system. Now, so due to COVID situation, you are all the people now. Earlier, only certain professionals, like software professionals, they were quite familiar. So they are using frequently so this internet, and then for day-to-day work to meet their professional tasks and all those things. Nowadays, even common people also introduced to internet because of the situation. Now we have smartphones, laptops, desktop computers. So with the help of internet connections, okay, with the help of service providers, you're attending online classes, right? Isn't it? So internet. So what is the World Wide Web? Is there? All the computers are connected through the World Wide Web, known as WW World Wide Web, isn't it? It is nothing but a huge encyclopedia. Consider it's like a huge encyclopedia of knowledge, which is accessible to all the persons across the globe. So throughout 24 by 7. So throughout the day, that information can be accessed to all the persons, provided they have internet connection, isn't it? Okay, so nowadays, so this because of this internet system, so now the communication as well as we can have email system, we can send pictures, text messages, so to one part to another part comfortably within no time, isn't it? We have been experiencing that almost everybody using so this internet system for emails and then pictures, videos, everything. Nowadays, social media is there now. Groups we immediately will transmit the information from one group to another group within no time, isn't it? So similarly, commerce, e-commerce. So now online transactions, the order of the day, isn't it? So online businesses nowadays. Earlier, so the so if you want to purchase an article, you used to go to the shop. You used to go around different shops. You want to see the articles, whichever article you like, you used to purchase, isn't it? Now, so you sit at your home and in fingertips you can access all the shops, all the articles. Thus, that will be exhibited. The monitor and go through them. Whichever you like, you can place the order. E-commerce system. Then so through the people, we have some providers are there. Okay, Amazon and different type of so this e-commerce people, they will so place the order to internet system. Then the websites will be there. Then immediately they deliver. So within no time, isn't it? E-commerce is picking up ornaments, clothes, electronic goods, including the vehicles, everything, whatnot. Okay, whatever you want, you can purchase on internet, okay, or online shopping. So this is the order of the. Similarly, banking system, so completely based on electronic transaction. So nowadays, net banking is the order of the day. Similarly, for ticket bookings, for railway tickets or aeroplane tickets, flight tickets, or any tickets, even buses also, you can book the tickets online. Now the education now is from KG to PG, the professionals. That's say professional college, technology, engineering and technology college. Nowadays, classes are going on online classes are going on, virtual classes, and even the exams also going on, right? Online exams, isn't it? So this is transmission. So channel to receiving channel, and then they must be faithful so that the information transmitted so must be truthful and faithful. So correct information must reach the receiver, isn't it? Okay, this is about basic requirement of the communication system and significance, importance, day-to-day life. Coming to so this communication system modulation, what is basically what is the requirement, modulation requirements, then what different types of modulations. Basically, modulation, as I told you, the process of combining, mixing the low frequency signal, that's the signal to be transmitted, say my voice or a song or let's say so some entertainment programs or news. It can news items, it can be anything, right? The low frequency signal has to be transmitted so over long distances, isn't it? As it is, it cannot travel beyond certain meters. So the process of combining low frequency signal with high frequency carrier wave. So this is called modulation. Suppose if I want to travel on my foot, I may travel few miles. If I have two-wheeler vehicle, I can travel some 100 miles, 200 miles comfortably, four-wheeler, some vehicle, isn't it? So that is a carrier. The similar way, the signal, so is less strength, cannot go beyond certain meters. Let us say, if it has to travel, its strength must be increased. So what we have to provide a carrier. So high frequency signal behaves like a vehicle, a car or a motorbike, or it can be anything. So they will be mixed up and then they travel over large miles of distance. Right? Just as simple as the process of mixing, combining low frequency signal with high frequency carrier wave called modulation. This modulation signals are in the form of electromagnetic waves. They will be easily transmitted through the transmitting antennas, and then easily they reach the receiving antenna. They get demodulated easily. All the system is in comfortable system, isn't it? So, what is the requirement, necessity of modulation? To transmit signal over long distance, as I already told you. In addition to that, so to avoid distortion, noise disturbances. So 2-3 channels transmit at a time. This noise will mix up, disturbance will take place. To minimize, to avoid the disturbance. So we can have this. What do you call this? System is required, isn't it? So similarly, we can reduce the size of antennas. You just go back 30-40 years ago, we used to Doordarshan telecast, how it used to take place. We used to have a huge antennas at the top of our houses, isn't it? So do you recollect that? So nowadays, you don't require all these things. So because of this modulation techniques undergone drastic changes, now the size of the antenna reduced or minimized all, okay, small size. So basic requirement to transmit signal over large distances, and then without any distortion, without any noise or mixing of signals, and then of course to reduce the size, to minimize the size of the antenna. This is the importance, the significance of the modulation, isn't it? Now we have three different techniques or methods for modulation. First one is the amplitude, AM, amplitude modulation, frequency, FM, frequency modulation, and then last one, phase modulation. So nowadays, FM radios are very, very popular. So AM means amplitude modulation. Amplitude modulation. Okay, different types of modulations: amplitude modulation, frequency modulation, and phase modulation. Right? ఇక్కడ ఏం జరుగుతుందంటే మనం పంపించాల్సినటువంటి సిగ్నల్, సో సిగ్నల్ పంపించేటప్పుడు ఆ క్యారియర్ వేవ్ యొక్క క్యారెక్టరిస్టిక్ ప్రాపర్టీ, యాంప్లిట్యూడ్ మారచ్చు, ఫ్రీక్వెన్సీ మారచ్చు, అలాగే ఫేజ్ కూడా మారచ్చు. ఏదో ఒక ప్రాపర్టీ మారుతుంది అనమాట, ఇన్ అకార్డెన్స్ విత్ ద సిగ్నల్ టు బి ట్రాన్స్మిటెడ్. సో హియర్ ద characteristic of the carrier wave will change in accordance with the signal to be transmitted. Accordingly, we have three types of modulation. Amplitude modulation, here the amplitude gets modified. Say for example, so this signal, low frequency signal, has to be transmitted. So here it will be overlapped with high frequency signal. This is a carrier wave. This is carrier wave. So both will be overlapped in such a way the amplitude may get modified like this. So this frequency remains as carrier wave, but amplitude gets modified. This is amplitude modulation. Similarly, the frequency of the carrier wave gets modified in accordance with the signal to be transmitted in the frequency modulation. Nowadays, FM radios are very, very popular, the entertainment program. So nowadays, right from morning to dawn to dusk, lot of entertainment programs will be telecasted so on this FM radio. Similarly, phase gets modified. Phase of carrier wave gets modified in accordance with the signal to be transmitted. So this is different types of modulations. So before that, so how the signal, so electromagnetic signal. So we might have discussed in detail electromagnetic waves, electromagnetic signals, classification, spectrum, all the details you might have studied how this electromagnetic signal is transmitted. This electromagnetic signal in the form of so digital form, the digital or analog form. So this continuous form like this sine wave, it will be the sound is not transmitted as it is in the form of mechanical wave or sound wave form. It will be converted into electromagnetic signal. So like this sinusoidal wave, or even it can be continuous waves like this, right? Or analog system. So this is a digital and analog system. Digital system, binary digital, two systems. This combination of two digits, zero and binary system, combination of this, the signal will be transmitted. Okay, analog and digital system. So whatever may be this mode of transmission, analog or digital, whatever it may be, radio radiation, electromagnetic radiation, how it is transmitted. So let me discuss something about what are the ground waves, surface waves. Similarly, we come across sky waves, space waves. These three terms should be clear. So very close to surface waves means Earth is a huge spherical ball. Let's say it's a curved shape like this, isn't it? So now suppose if you transmit, so due to this curved shape, the signal so moves in straight line path, it will escape, isn't it? Without reaching the other part due to the curved nature of this Earth, isn't it? So here the signal is transmitted with the help of some antenna. So it will be transmitting like this. It will go straight line path like. Then the signals, electromagnetic signals, close the surface of the Earth. So they are called surface waves. They are called surface waves. Okay, so small frequencies and then all these things. So easily we can transmit so small distances, isn't it? So sky waves. What are the sky waves? So signal is transmitted into sky, right, with the help of this antennas. So these signals, so roughly from few megahertz to up to 30 megahertz, this range, bandwidth range, those frequency signal range. So when they are transmitted into sky with the help of this antennas, what happens? This Earth is surrounded or enveloped by atmospheric layer. You are familiar. So this Earth is surrounded by atmospheric layer. We have gas molecules up to certain levels, of course. This gravitational field like this, up to that we have atmospheric layer is existing, gas molecules existing. Now what happens? The radiation continuously showered from sun, right? That radiation consists infrared rays, ultraviolet, different radiations you might have studied in the other chapters, electromagnetic waves. So upper layers of the atmosphere, what happens? Their density is less. As you move up with higher altitude, the density of air gradually decreases, isn't it? So here at higher level, what happens here? That gas molecule, gas density is less, even though intensity of a light is more, the ionization magnitude is less, right? So this is ionosphere, this layer, so it's called ionospheres. The molecules exist in the form of ions. The top layers, ions concentration is less. Similarly, at the lower level, whatever, even though the gas concentration is, gas molecule concentration is more, but however, the intensity of light that reaching the surface of the earth is less, because there also close to surface of the earth, we have less ionization concentration. But in between, so let us say, so ranging from the atmosphere 65 kilometers to, let us say, 400 kilometers range atmosphere, we consider intermediate stage, we come across the layers where the ionization concentration is more, right? So that layer acts like a reflector. It acts like a reflector to the signal. The signal will go and get reflected by this ionosphere layer, which has maximum density. This is in between 65 to 400 kilometers in between that intermediate level. So density will be maximum ionization density. That layer, air layer, behaves like a reflector. So these waves to be up to 30 megahertz, they get reflected back. These waves are called sky waves, right? So the waves, electromagnetic signal or radio waves reflected by ionospheric layer are called sky waves. They get reflected back towards the surface of the earth. This is analogous, similar to the total internal reflection that you might have studied in optics. There, what happens? A ray traveling from denser medium to rarer medium, such that the angle of incidence is more than critical angle. Just a reminder, suppose the ray is traveling from denser medium to rarer medium, such that the angle of incidence is more than critical angle. Then the ray reflects back into the same medium, that's a denser medium. That's the condition for total internal reflection. You might have studied in the optics, their application, formation of mirage, all those things. So, what is the critical angle? Then, what is the total internal reflection? What are the conditions to take place? All these things. It is similar, analogous to that. So, here the signal up to 30 frequency range, up to 30 megahertz. What happens? That signal, it gets reflected back by the reflector. It's called ionosphere layer, that is called, having maximum density, magnitude of these ions. So reflects back. So this signal can be transmitted comfortably. Suppose this signal is more frequency, more than 30 megahertz, that penetrates through this ionospheric layer and escapes into space. This will escape into space beyond this ionospheric layer. Now this signal is again with the help of this satellites. We have communication satellites will be there. This satellite. So this signal, so having more frequency, more than 30 megahertz, penetrates through ionospheric layer, gets reflected, and it will reach the surface of the earth. That is why satellite communication is very, very popular nowadays. Even Doordarshan telecast also. Suppose cricket match, soccer match, tennis match is being played at one part of the globe, we can comfortably sit in our bedroom or drawing room, so in front of our TVs, we can watch those matches, right, through satellite. This program, the cricket match or anything of the football match being telecasted through satellite. That's why once in a while, now and then, so sorry for the interruption, so the some satellite link is broken, like the type of messages you might have seen on the monitor of your TV, isn't it? Well, once this contact is established, then transmission again restores, isn't it? This satellite communication. So now this internet communication. So this signals, electromagnetic signals, are goes to reaches to the satellite, gets reflected and showers on the surface of the earth, and so that easily it can reach other part of the globe, isn't it? So this is very, very simple way of so that even a layman can understand the communication in the simplest possible manner. So the signal to be transmitted, so it's to have low frequency. It cannot travel larger distance. So it has to be strengthened. So with the help of the carrier wave overlapping or mixing with the high frequency carrier wave. So this technique is called modulation technique. Modulated signal actually transmitted. So with the help of transmitter, so with the help of course antennas and all those things, this modulated signal will reach the receiver. There this gets remodulated and then the required signal is obtained. This communication system goes on. Isn't it? So actually మన భూమి పెద్ద భూగోళం ఒక స్పెరికల్ షేప్ రౌండ్ గా ఉన్నటువంటి ఒక గోళాకారంలో ఉన్నటువంటి పెద్ద బంతిలా ఊహించుకుంటే ఈ వక్రతలం వలన ఏం జరుగుతుందంటే ఒక స్థానంలో మనం ఏదైనా సిగ్నల్ మనం ప్రసారం చేసినప్పుడు ఈ కర్వ్డ్ షేప్ లో వక్రతలం వల్ల అది రుజు మార్గంలో ప్రయాణించి అది అట్లా స్కైలోకి అట్లా ఎస్కేప్ అయ్యే అవకాశం ఉంటుంది. అందుకే మనకు ఈ సెల్యులార్ టవర్స్, అక్కడక్కడ టవర్స్ ఉంటాయి కదా, ఆ టవర్స్ ఏం చేస్తాయి, ఆ సిగ్నల్ రిసీవ్ చేసి డైరెక్షన్ మార్చి మనకు రిసీవర్ ను చేరవేసేటట్టుగా ఉంటాయి అన్నమాట. అందుకే అక్కడక్కడ రేంజ్ లో 35-40 కిలోమీటర్స్ రేంజ్ లో మనకు సెల్యులార్ టవర్స్ వస్తుంటాయి అన్నమాట. ఎయిర్టెల్ టవర్స్, అలాగే జియో టవర్స్, డిఫరెంట్ టవర్స్. Nowadays optical fibers are being used for communication. So this is about communication system. Now without the communication system, imagine life, how it would have been. Every department, not only education department, say let us say banking sector, let us say transport sector, the airlines, railways, buses, transport, road transport, everything get affected. So this is the advancement is a purely based on this communication system. Computers stop working, internet doesn't work, isn't it? So this is about the communication system.